Heidi, thank you. This morning, all eyes on Arizona as we get closer to the November 3rd election day.
Yeah, it's getting really close. We're about 50 days away. Our state is considered to be one of the key swing states that will determine our next president, Tess.
That's right, guys. Both candidates vying for votes among the Hispanic and Latino communities. In fact, the president participated in Latinos for Trump roundtable in Las Vegas yesterday. And today, the president will visit the Valley for the fifth time this year for another Latinos for Trump roundtable. So we want to check in with Javi this morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. We are keeping an eye on all the candidates as your Arizona's election authority, and they're keeping an eye on the state of Arizona. So today, President Donald Trump will be in the Valley right behind me at the Arizona Grand Resort where he'll hold a roundtable with Latinos for Trump. Meanwhile, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden will also hold a virtual town hall today, and that is for Arizona veterans and the military families. Let's break down where they stand today due to a recent poll that was released earlier this morning. The CBS poll just out has former Vice President Joe Biden with a slight lead over President Donald Trump here in Arizona. Biden coming in at 47%, while President Trump maintaining 44%. And another poll from OH Predictive Insights shows that President Trump's support has fallen to 42%, and former Vice President Joe Biden has jumped to 52%. Now, over the weekend, the vice presidential Democratic candidate Kamala Harris was here in the Valley, at least virtually, and she spoke with a bunch of Latino business owners, talking about a variance of things, talking about a big bid to help the struggling businesses if they were elected. Also talking about the pandemic and how it's affected Latinos very much so and hurt their livelihoods and family members. Now, after that roundtable, I had a chance to talk with Senator Harris one-on-one, and this is what she had to say about the Arizona issues.
With 50 days to go until the 2020 presidential election, Democratic vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris zoomed in for an exclusive interview.
So I'm glad to be back in Arizona.
With the Grand Canyon state considered a battleground this year, one of the heated and major debates is always the handling of our southern border.
Republicans say the Biden-Harris ticket supports open borders. Is that the case?
Absolutely not. We will enforce immigration laws. But we will also, I will promise you this, not separate children from their parents at the border. We will not put babies in cages. We will honor the commitment to DACA, and we will enforce immigration law.
And according to Senator Harris, help the nearly 25,000 Arizona dreamers who have been in limbo.
The 25,000 dreamers in the state of Arizona are like dreamers all over the country. They have been frontline workers during this pandemic. They have been essential workers during this pandemic. They are contributing to their communities. It is our full intention to reinstate DACA and the promise America made to our dreamers, because it is the right thing to do.
But with the cases of COVID still climbing, Arizonans are once again concerned about their health care.
We support everyone having access to affordable health care. We are supportive of private insurance coverage and a public option. What's most important to Joe Biden and me is that we understand access to health care is a right and not just a privilege of the rich people and those who can afford it.
What are you doing every day to bring about equality?
I have to ask you about the protests against racial injustice that have sometimes led to violence. I know you sponsored legislation banning chokeholds, racial profiling, and no-knock warrants. But is that enough to end the protest? And what's your plan overall, considering that as a top cop, you didn't really investigate or prosecute many cases of officer-involved shootings or police brutality?
Well, that's actually not correct. I initiated some of the first pattern and practice investigations of law enforcement agencies in California that had a history of denying civil rights and engaging in misconduct and racial profiling. And Joe Biden and I are very clear that when we are in office, that we will put resources into making sure that those kinds of pattern and practice investigations of police agencies and law enforcement agencies have teeth. We will end chokeholds and carotid holds. We will also require accountability from police officers who break the rules and break the law by keeping a national registry of those who have broken the law so that they can't travel from one jurisdiction to another.
Now, for the complete raw interview that I had with Senator Harris, all you have to do is go on over to our Arizona's Family News app as well as our website, azfamily.com. Meanwhile, Senator Harris and Vice President Mike Pence, they will debate October 7th in Salt Lake City at the University of Utah. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump, he's here in the Valley today. He's hosting that roundtable for Latinos for Trump. That begins at shortly after 2 o'clock this afternoon. It is full, but we will stream it on our Arizona's Family News app. And as we mentioned earlier this morning, Vice President Mike Pence has now announced he will be here in the Valley on Friday.